32 Chicago Sports. This is Chicago Sports Tonight.
Welcome back to a Wednesday night edition of Chicago Sports Tonight. I'm Lou Canellis. Bears back at Halas Hall today. Players started prepping for the Rams. Caleb Williams meets face-to-face with Matthew Stafford just the second time. First time following last year's Bears win over the Rams 24-18. Stafford's owned L.A. since going to the Rams in 2021 and winning the Super Bowl in February of 2022. Ironically, Caleb Williams transferred to USC in 2022, and for the next 2 years, the two quarterbacks shared the Hollywood spotlight but never met. Cassie Carlson has more from today's Bears practice.
Respect for quarterback play is mutual between both the Bears and Rams. Rams head coach Sean McVay called Caleb Williams a nightmare to defend, while the Bears see 38-year-old Matthew Stafford as an MVP and someone Ben Johnson used as an example to his own quarterback.
An experienced player that sees the field really well. He understands defenses. He knows how to manipulate defenses. He's got a great feel for the game.
At the top of the game right now, and at his age and things like that. And so that's something you can learn from.
Running back DeAndre Swift saw Stafford work firsthand when they were together in Detroit.
I call him the GOAT. That's my guy right there. When I got into the league, he was the first person to reach out to me. Going to Detroit, first guy I worked out with. A ton of respect for him, how he goes about his business. He's been doing it at a high level for so long. Can't say enough great things about him. He's a true warrior.
Williams has proven to be a fourth quarter warrior after leading the Bears to their seventh fourth quarter comeback win against Green Bay, something his teammates believe comes down to his preparation.
His car is here longer, his car is here earlier. And he's always always has a notebook in his hand, always going over something. Like, he's taking his process very, very serious. And that's something that we need to do, every individual, to go ahead and kind of have the success that we want to have.
And as the Bears prepare for another cold weather game, Kevin Byard said Ben Johnson's done a good job preparing them throughout the season as they have been practicing outside throughout the week without heaters, something he said players have complained about, but now he sees as a good thing.
We'll go back out to Halas Hall with Cassie and the Athletics' Dan Wiederer in a minute, but first, Cubs make it official. They have signed three-time All-Star Alex Bregman to a 5-year, $175 million deal. He'll be introduced to the media tomorrow morning at Wrigley Field. He'll also be at the Cubs convention this weekend if you're headed there. And how about this? Bregman's contract, the third largest in Cubs history. It's also the largest average salary in franchise history, although MajorLeagueBaseball.com reports the Cubs are deferring $70 million, which would keep their 2026 payroll just under the luxury tax, which is important to Cubs ownership. Bregman got his first unofficial welcome from Chicago fans Monday. He and his wife went to the Blackhawks game at the United Center. You see the number on his Hawks jersey? The number 3? Yeah, that's the number he'll wear as a Cub. All right, let's welcome in Cassie Carlson and the Athletics' Dan Wiederer. They have been at Halas Hall with the Bears today. They started prepping for the Rams. Good to see both of you. Hey, Cassie, let me start with you. How has the team handled coming off that emotional win Saturday and going back to work this week for the Rams?
Yeah, I got the sense on Monday when we were here, that was 2 days after the game, that a lot of the players were still riding the high of that emotion that they felt from Saturday night. But now we're Wednesday. We are midweek and just a handful of days away from the Bears being in the divisional round against the LA Rams. And so, as Kevin Byard said today, you just gotta turn the page. You gotta quickly flip the script onto your next opponent, because all of these playoff games are going to be emotional, win or lose. And so they've had to do this so many times throughout the season, especially coming off of 7 now comeback wins in the fourth quarter, that I think they're kind of used to it. And so all their focus now is what's ahead with Matthew Stafford and the Rams coming into town.
Yeah, and I think they probably benefited from that game being on Saturday night.
Yeah.
It gave them an extra day to cross that emotional bridge. We did learn on Monday that Case Keenum spoke to the team. He was obviously the author of the Minneapolis Miracle about a decade ago, and then his team, the Vikings, went the next week to Philly and got their doors blown off and lost by 31 points, and their season was over. And so there is a message here about resetting, refining the urgency, and being ready for a very tough opponent Sunday here at Soldier Field.
Guys, Rams defensive front four really good. They don't need to blitz a lot because they've got guys up front like Jared Verse and Byron Young, Braden Fiske, Kobe Turner. Worried about help the Bears' offensive line without their starting left tackle?
I think the assumption is that Theo Benedict will be their starting left tackle on Sunday, and he's someone who at one point earned the starting job before losing it to Ozzie Trapillo. And I think that's the benefit of having depth on the O-line and having players who can rotate at different positions, where he's been in games, seeing live game reps, and the coaching staff clearly trusted him at one point to be put in that position. So it's not exactly what you want. You would obviously love to have Ozzie Trapillo out there, but I think Theo Benedict, given the fact that he has had game-like reps, you feel better about it than some other scenarios.
Yeah, and the real concern that you do have is mitigated by the fact that Ben Johnson is your coach and offensive overseer. You understand that he has been very, very accomplished at understanding what he has to work with, what he doesn't, and game planning accordingly. And so you'd think that they would have a way to account for that change at left tackle and figure out a way to get this offense going. Obviously, we've been a broken record here for a month or so. They've got to get going faster. They can't leave everything for the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and here's what Ben Johnson had to say about the Rams' defensive front and all the problems they present on defense.
Versus one of the more violent edge players I've seen on tape so far this year. He does a great job turning speed into power. He'll take a tackle, go right down the middle of them, and take him right onto the lap of the quarterback. The interior, they are, like I said, relentless. I think that's almost not only talented, but just the fact that they do it play in and play out, and they don't take any plays off. That makes it very difficult because you got to bring it every single snap. Can't have any lapses up front, or else they'll make you pay.
Sean McVay gave a ton of respect to the Bears in his Monday press conference, guys. Really complimented Caleb Williams. What did Caleb have to say about his ability to rise to the pressure moments like he did last Saturday?
I mean, yeah, week in, week out, he continues to prove, and honestly, put money where his mouth is and say that he is the best in these moments, and he doesn't feel the pressure. He is built for these big-time games that he's played in before and doesn't get nervous. And it was interesting to hear running back DeAndre Swift's perspective, who said he is just so confident in the huddle right now. And he actually had some words of encouragement inside the huddle, basically being like, we are in a position to go win this game right now, and that is what we're going to do. And we just hear it from Ben Johnson. We hear it from Caleb Williams. You don't really need to motivate this guy late in games. He is so self-motivated and knows what lies ahead for them to go out there and take advantage of these opportunities. And he does it week after week now. And so I think this team feels so confident in their quarterback and also the preparation that he has learned over the course of his second season. Listen to what he had to say about that.
I feel calm in those moments. I feel, my conditioning is the best in those moments. I feel that's really it. I mean, I feel that I'm the best in those moments because of what I've prepared, to be in those moments. It's just next play. And then when you have to go make a play, it's life or death in those moments.
And yet again, I think this is all the Ben Johnson effect. He elevated the stakes inside this building. He forces Caleb Williams to be at his best every single day, and now the team is taking notice and it's playing out on the field.
Well, one of the greatest things Ben has done since he got here is create urgency, and it's clearly resonated with the quarterback and being urgent about what he does. Caleb also talked today about just his calm in those moments, and he's talked about that since he got here in April of 2024. And you say, don't tell us, show us. Well, he's shown us repeatedly that he can rise up to these moments, make these huge plays, and really put his stamp on signature victories. The Bears have lacked that forever. It's really refreshing to have that guy in your huddle now.
Hey, Dan, I heard you this morning on with Mully and Haw, and I really liked the question that I believe David asked you, and that was, what did you learn about Ben Johnson in that first playoff game?
Well, I said what we confirmed is that he's into it, right? Like we saw that Ben Johnson is into it, and that post-game celebration in the locker room was everything Chicago wanted, right? It was just unbridled passion, unleashed, unapologetic. He said what he said. He doubled down on what he said, and it just tells you that they've got a guy in here that it means more to him than anybody, and he's willing to show it. He's willing to give his players his all, expecting in return that they'll give him their all. And you've just seen the results here. You've seen a division championship. You've now seen an iconic playoff win in that fashion on Saturday night. And so what we're learning about Ben Johnson is he's the real deal. He's the superstar that he was claimed to be when they hired him just about a year ago. And so we'll see how long he can keep this current run going.
I think what's interesting about all coaches and a lot of the best ones is they are maniacal in everything that you do. And I think we've learned over the course of this season that is Ben Johnson. He expects the most out of his players. He also expects the most out of himself. And to see the oozing of passion that came out of him after that win, even in the handshake, I think it just screams to all the work that's been put in this season. He not only had to, coach this team, he had to change the culture. And it's now been a 12-month job that he's started doing that when he was hired a year ago. And so I think that was just like a release of emotion of, we have gotten to this point, we're not done yet, but, there's been bumps along the way. But I feel like that was him saying, like, all right, I'm here, I'm your guy, and I'm going to lead this team to new heights.
And it was pushing the bully aside, right?
It.
Like, it was so symbolic. The Bears beating the Packers in that fashion and then saying, bleep the Packers.
All right, thanks to Cassie and Dan for joining us on CST at Halas Hall. Coming up, we are going to go back to Halas Hall, chat with Bears play-by-play man, the voice on the radio side, Jeff Joniak, plus one of our former colleagues here at Fox Chicago will join me as well. Shae Cornette, host of First Take on ESPN. So don't go anywhere on this Wednesday night edition of Chicago Sports Tonight. All right, if you've got tickets to Sunday's Bears game, make sure you are dressed for what's going to be a cold, frigid night. Wind chills in the single digits. And if you don't have tickets and are checking out the secondary market, I'll do you a favor. I was on the websites this morning checking out what tickets we're going for. Cheapest seats right now at Soldier Field. They still cost you $500 for the game on Sunday night. Average price to get in, almost $900. But prices are starting to come down a little bit because of the weather. Now, I know one Chicagoan from Park Ridge who, if she chose to come home for the game, they would be flowering her with comps. There she is, Shae Cornette, who I knew as Shae Pepler. Here at Fox, Shae from ESPN, host of First Take, Sports Center, my former teammate here at Fox, joins me from Bristol. First of all, I am so proud of you, Shae Cornette, Shae Pepler. Happy for you in your new role on First Take with Stephen A. Smith and your cast of characters like Peter Schrager earlier today. How are you doing?
I'm doing so good, Louie. I'm doing great, but I miss you guys, and I miss Chicago tremendously. Do you know, I'd pay the money to go sit in, what is it supposed to be, minus 10 degrees, I think?
Yes.
On Sunday night, I would pay to do it. I would love to do it. I have to be in Miami for the national championship game for the CFP. So unfortunately, I don't have a private plane yet, so I can't quite make it work.
Oh.
But I will be watching in my vintage Kyle Long jersey that I have. I will be watching, and I will be thrilled for the Bears. My goodness, what a season. You know, look, you and I covered some Bears teams that could only dream of having the kind of success that Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams and this whole crew is having this year. And it has been so fun to watch. I catch some of Fox 32 shows and post-game coverage and all this stuff. after games, and I love watching it, and I miss all of you guys, everyone there so much.
All right, give me the national perspective. I appreciate, it's still in your heart. You grew up in Park Ridge. You're a Chicagoan forever, but you also work with a lot of national guys like Stephen A., who's obviously very outspoken, and Dan Orlovsky, your friend over there who was beating up the Bears last week, actually just ripping them to shreds, saying they had no chance against the Packers. How are those Bears haters treating you today?
It's funny. Since that show with Dan Orlovsky, I have not seen him. And we live very close by each other in Connecticut, and I have not seen him once. My mentions have blown up like, tell him off, and I haven't even had the chance to. I think he's on the show tomorrow, so I'll make sure to do that. First of all, the narrative coming into the Packers game, into the wild card round, was that people don't trust the Bears. They don't. And that's, I think, a fair assessment. The comebacks have been awesome to watch, and for me, have nearly given me a heart attack. But you feel like they're not always sustainable. In fact, it kind of bit them against the Lions in that last game of the regular season. Obviously, it was sustainable against the Packers, and they were able to pull it off. But I think that game now against the Packers, your bitter rival at home, has been that thorn in your side for like my entire life, has now put everyone on notice. Okay, fine. This Bears defense isn't fantastic, and maybe it's not the bread and butter defense that I've been accustomed to my whole life, but they're opportunistic, and they can get some when you need it, and they can get a stop when you need them to. And don't let that Bears defense get hot now, because if that Bears defense can at least provide you a little bit more of a pass rush, a few more stops in critical situations, forget the takeaways. Okay, now the Bears have an offense, they have a defense, their special teams is sound. Don't let them get hot. So I think the national narrative was, I don't know how much I trust this Bears team yet. After the Packers game, completely different ballgame.
I don't know if you heard, but even Al Michaels said that he's called 31 games at Soldier Field, and never has Soldier Field rocked like it did in that Saturday night win against the Packers.
Joniak actually say,
yes.
I heard Jeff Joniak actually say that the radio booth was shaking, and him and Thayer have never felt that either. Also, my former partners, miss them. Please tell them that. So please, Al Michaels, I was listening to the local broadcast. I heard Thayer and Joniak tell me that the booth was shaking. Crazy.
Makes you wish you were there, right?
Right. I love it. So bring that same energy against the Rams. They're going to need that. And I think that could disrupt Matthew Stafford a little bit, right? Like with the noise, the cold, his hands, his fingers being freezing and maybe not at 100%. I'm not wishing poor things upon him, but I think that would only help.
Do you think it's going to be a shootout?
I don't. I actually think the Bears can win by a touchdown. And I think they can figure this. I don't want it to come down to the last second again, Lou. I can't handle it. Like, start out fast. I don't need a tale of two halves again. Let's start out fast against the Rams. Let's have their number, and let's have at least a touchdown lead. Like, let's not leave it in Matthew Stafford's hand on the last play of the game. I don't want to do it again. Please.
You're preaching to the choir, honey. I'm a lot older than you, and I'm going to have a grabber if this continues.
Oh, Lou, I can't handle it. So I hope not. I do kind of think it's going to be one of those games where the last player or the last quarterback with the ball in their hands will win, but I'm going to hope it doesn't come down to that. I hope we figure out the first half. We got to. The Rams are a really good football team.
When you were talking to the football gods over there, Orlovsky, Schefter, did anyone have any idea, any instinct that a season like this was possible for the Bears?
No. Are you kidding me? I don't, when I first got the job on First Take, I did an interview and it went everywhere, and it was like, Shea wants to talk more about Midwest sports. I did. I'm from Chicago. That's fine. And then all of a sudden the Bears started winning football games, and we have talked about the Chicago Bears almost every single day since I got this job. And I'm like, this is wonderful. But no one saw this coming. How could you? And I got to be honest, Louis, I wasn't even sure about Ben Johnson either. I have seen this story before with coordinators. I loved Matt Nagy. I liked Flus when he first got in there. But I'm like, I don't want to do another coordinator that's an unproven head coach. I wanted Vrabel. That's who I thought would be the best fit in Chicago. I'm like, give me Vrabel, someone who's established himself as a head coach. I am so happy to say I was wrong, because I just wasn't sure how this was going to work. And I felt like we had been down this road before. I liked Caleb Williams coming out of Chicago, but USC didn't have a phenomenal year the year he won the Heisman. So I'm like, is this really the right pick? I think that Ben Johnson attitude, though, and you would know this better than me, so you tell me, has rubbed off on Caleb Williams, though. The dude seems angry on the sidelines, possessed. I'm here for it. Laying into his offense. Like, the two of them together are like this force to be reckoned with. And I think they've rubbed off on each other.
I've been on this show saying in the past that I thought Ben Johnson at the beginning of the season was looking for more of a Jared Goff type quarterback because that's what he worked with in Detroit.
Right.
And he had
Right.
terrific success. And through the last few months, he's realized, okay, I have a quarterback that may not be able to put together the completion percentage that a Goff can, but I'm working with a quarterback who brings incredible athletic talent that Jared Goff doesn't have, and maybe I should start to tailor my game plan more to what Caleb Williams does best.
Yeah, and his decision making at the line of scrimmage has increased, his confidence, and just his body language. Like, it's all about the body language. It's completely different. Honestly, too, at the end of that Packers game, I was like, oh, here come the Bears. The Packers' body language completely changed. It's almost like they knew it was coming in the second half. It was crazy. So I love to see that quarterback head coach, and it's just so promising to finally have, when I was covering, Lou, with you, when we were covering the Bears back when I was there, I remember with Mitch Trubisky, Nagy, we would always reference Sid Luckman, the last quarterback to score this many. I'm like, please, can I get a quarterback more reason than Sid Luckman to actually do something for the Bears? It is so refreshing to see records being broken. And the first time, Caleb Williams making history, and I don't have to reference Sid Luckman anymore, please. It was nice to see a wild card win, especially against the Green Bay Packers. I know they didn't have Micah Parsons. I don't care. The fact that and I like Matt LaFleur, but the fact that the Bears found a way to beat Green Bay at home, and then Green Bay has all these question marks about their head coach, about their GM, their backup quarterback, Malik Willis, might be going somewhere else. There's a lot of what ifs now in Green Bay, and a lot of reason why is because of what Ben Johnson is doing to them. And it's only going to get louder there if they can't find ways to beat each other.
You're right, Shay. Listen, you're the good luck charm. Ever since you got the gig at First Take, they have gone on this incredible run here. What do you think? I mean, it sounds like you've got them winning against the Rams. Do you think they can get to the Super Bowl and win it?
I think they can beat the Rams. Seahawks make me a little nervous. That Seahawks defense, that's tough. Now,
it's legit, yeah.
Again, with a quarterback you could take advantage of with turnovers, Sam Darnold. Hello, you've seen him turn the ball over 3-4 times in a game. Sure, but that Seahawks defense is stifling, and you'll have to go to Seattle for that one. That makes me nervous. So I think we could get past the Rams, but Seahawks waiting in the wings does give me a little bit of pause.
And my goodness, I bet you would love to see your Hoosiers win on Monday.
Can you believe what Curt Cignetti has done in Bloomington? I want to see. They're going to win on Monday. I can't wait to be down there in Miami and watch that butt kicking that's going to be on Monday against those Miami Hurricanes. But get out of here. I can't wait.
I love you. I am so happy we had a chance to catch up. Thanks for spending some time with me here on CST. Have fun this weekend and Monday with the big Hoosier game. But first things first, Sunday night, Bears, Rams.
Bears, let's go. I'll be watching. Thank you, Louis. Thanks for having me on. Don't be a stranger.
Don't be
a stranger.
All right. Thanks, Shay. My partner on Bears Game Day, Bears Game Night Live, Jeff Joniak, who does such a great job on the radio as the voice of the Bears, joins me from Hallis Hall now. Hey, man, have you come off that emotional high yet from Saturday night?
No, honestly, it's funny you say that because we just had Joe Montana on our podcast that will drop tomorrow, wherever you get your podcast, Bears, etc. And he brought me back to the game because he was out in L.A., of course, watching the game on television and enjoying it from a distance. But I mentioned to Tom Thayer, I said, I know I should be hitting reset about right now and moving on. It's already Wednesday. But I keep getting flashbacks of the fans at Soldier Field. That environment topped everything I've seen. Honestly, maybe the snow globe moment in the NFC Championship game in 2007, 2006 season. That was right up there. But this crowd was hugging, dancing, strangers hugging, high-fiving. It was wonderful. The stadium was heaving, Lou. The people were making it look like the stadium was heaving up, and it was shaking the booth, as we mentioned in Game Night Live. So, yeah, the 4th and 8th throw, I can't appreciate it as much as a play-by-play guy in that moment. I'm like the play caller, right? You're on to the next play. But watching it over and over again, I am still amazed at that throw. And then the final 13 seconds. Lou.
I know.
I don't think I gave it its due because I was worried about what was coming. And so I'm like fearing the worst. in that moment, because we've seen it happen too many times in our careers. So
you heard from Ben Johnson, some of the players today. Anything really make an impact on you?
Well, you know, Montez Sweat, he was off the podium on the side. Man, a few words this season, but you could feel he appreciated what's going on here in the last part of this season, the winning streak and all that, but the environment that we just talked about, this is the best he's ever had in a season. He said he's never had more fun.
Really?
And winning certainly does that, but it's the moment that you're living in. It's this Bears town. It's a Bears town. They're going absolutely insane right now. That environment Sunday night will be, dare I say, equal to Saturday night. I know it's a work night, but you know what? Call in sick Monday. All right? You don't need, just get ready, get oiled up, get ready to roll, because you guys were great on Saturday night. You had all day to enjoy it. You're going to have all day Sunday. And just bring an extra blanket or something. You know, you'll be fine. Just make some noise. And I think the defense in particular will appreciate that. That really stuck out with me because he's not very open about stuff like that. And that tells you where this team's head's at, how they embrace this. Ben's talked about the fans so much, even off the record with me, just what this means to have that kind of crowd support for an outdoor football game in the city.
I love it. Let me give you a wrap it because I know your partner, he hates when we play the weather angle, but this is going to be the coldest game that Matthew Stafford's ever played in. Will the below zero wind chill help the Bears against L.A.?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the individual, so whether or not, Matthew Stafford's a Hall of Famer. So any kind of condition, he's going to rise to the occasion. It's not like he hasn't played in cold weather games, being in the NFC North here in Chicago a time or two in his career. But I think you got to lean into that, keep talking about it, fill their heads with it, and make it seem like it's going to be worse than it really is. I think it's 82 degrees there today right now, according to Joe Montana, who was our guest, as I said. And so, yeah, they're going to be going. And it was 72 degrees in Carolina. And I noted that when I was watching the game. I called my daughter, Caitlin, who's still living out there, and I say, hey, what's the temperature? Oh, it's like mid-70s, Dad. I'm going golfing. I go, great. That's perfect for when they come here to Chicago.
Exactly. Hey, man, I know you'll be busy this week. I'm excited to see you. Make sure you dress warmly because I know you'll have that window up, and I'll see the video of you two guys in the booth. And then I'll see you Sunday as well for 12:30 Bears Game Day Live here on Fox Chicago, all right?
All right, Lou, don't be late. Put your game face on, buddy.
All right, that's it for a Wednesday night edition of Chicago Sports Tonight. Thanks to our guests, Cassie Carlson, Dan Wiederer, Jeff Joniak, and ESPN's Shea Cornett. You can watch extended versions of all these interviews on our YouTube page at Fox 32 Chicago tomorrow. Cassie joins us again with an update from Hallis Hall. Good Morning Football's Jamie Erdahl, and our teammate here at Fox Chicago, Jim Miller, will also hop on the show. Have a great night. See ya.